I was finishing my game. Did you turn on the stream?
Yeah, I turned it on.
Why mine is always faster? I'll pause. Okay, we're on the same page.
What was that?
Oh, my clean feed was faster than yours. So
Oh, I don't know. Yours is always ahead.
시크와 LG 울트라기어가 함께하는 ASL 시즌 11 4강 첫 번째 경기 프리쇼로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다. 정말 치열한 경쟁이
We're back to another ASL Cast, ASL Season11 Semifinal. All 4 people survived so far. Mini, Queen,
경기가
Hero,
먼저
and
유일하게
Larva.
생존한
And
프로토스가
this is going to be the day 1 of the semifinal.
디펜딩 챔피언 김명훈 선수와의 대결이 여러분을 기다리고
It is going to
있습니다.
be
이 두 선수
Mini
이번 시즌
versus
걸어온 발자취는
Queen.
어땠는지 지금부터
Mini is going to be the challenger, and Queen is the defender of this ASL champ title.
2일차 경기를 돌고
And
24강
ASL Season
본선
11 key
진출에
point, we are
성공했는데요.
looking at this
첫 경기에서
both of the players'
선수를 무자비하게
previous
이기며
career.
승리했지만 이어진 윤찬희 선수와의 경기에서 일격을 당하며 최종전으로 향했죠. 이후 펼쳐진
We can see that Mini beat Mini
Mini
made it into round of 16 and a second place in a round of 24.
김명훈 선수는 2회
It
연속
was
우승으로
Mini,
다시 한번 탑10의
Mo,
자격으로 이번 시즌을
Miso,
시작했는데요.
Soso.
16강
However,
준비명
Queen was
시작을
the seeded
두
player, so he didn't
선수는
get to play on the
모두
round of
A조에
24.
속하게
Round of
시기를
16,
받은 김명훈 선수는
they get to
16강의
play each other on
첫
round of
경기에서
16.
잡아냈고
Mini made it
선수는
made it through
승전에
to
올라
quarterfinal as the
2위로
first place in the
진출하기
round
위한
of 16.
경쟁을
And
펼쳤는데요.
Queen made it
이
to
변현재 선수가
quarterfinal as the
시작한
second
2세트에서
place in
김명훈
a
선수의
round of
올인을 막지
16.
못하고 한 세트를 내어주기는 했지만 완벽한
And Mini was playing versus Best on the round of 8, 3-0. He brought a lot of cheesy build. Best was taking some difficulty playing as Mini's all in, and some of the mind games as well. And Queen also played quite a lot of different strategies playing against JYJ, showing 2 Hachimura and keeping up his third expansion and going for the base trade there. And he also showed instead of going for 2 Hachimura, he showed 3 Hachimura in the second game on the Polyoid. That was also an amazing game.
시즌 7 이후 4시즌 만에 4강 진출에 성공했습니다. 김명훈 선수는 최근 떠오르는 테란 라인은 김유정 라인의 정영재 선수를 8강에서 만나게 됐는데요. 정영재 선수가 걸어오는 전략과 타이밍 러시를
The caster is pretty much summarizing up all those matches that they played in the previous game.
자, 이어서 양 선수가 승리하게 된다면 어떤 기록들이
And we're looking at the key point of a Mini. If Mini make it into final, he hasn't made it into final for four seasons consecutive times, I should say. But the last time he made it into final was in season 7. And we're also looking at the other information that if he makes it into final, then we haven't gotten to see Protoss player make it into final after season 8. So if Mini makes it into final, then that is going to be another Protoss player who's going to make it into final in the ASL tournament. We're also looking at the Queen's key point. If he wins this semi-final, he will be making it into final 3 times in a row, 3 consecutive times. And he will also earn a new title that making it into final multiple times, making it into final, same as Flash did. And he's also going to earn another title that no other Zerg players making it into final more than Queen did so far. So if he makes it through, then it is going to be very impressive and making a new history there. And there's some vote were going on in Africa. I think they did it in a couple days ago. People vote Mini for 54% of the people were voting for Mini. They're rooting for Mini to make it into final. And 46% of the people did vote for Queen. So that was a prediction of audience's guess. She also did about the survey of players. They want to know who's going to make it into final. And we are seeing more voted for Queen make it into final 4-3. Shuttle voted for Mini 4-2. Soma voted for Mini 4-2 and so on. So that was quite a dominant side for Zerg. Zerg favor. And we're gonna be moving into players who's going to be making it into final first in this semi-final.
So thank you for the translation, Stan. The one thing I noticed in the list of predictions between those players, none of the Terran players predicted the Protoss to make it through. They all predicted Zerg, and then the Zerg and Protoss players were kind of mixed. So this should be. Oh, well, let's wait for the intro.
Have engaged the enemy.
Alright guys, welcome to the first day of the round of 4 and a very exciting matchup. We've got Queen going up against Mini. It's going to be a rematch of the round of 16. And of course, Queen is looking to repeat, getting into the finals 3 times in a row.
두 선수의 경기가 기다리고 있습니다. 변현재 선수와 저그 김명훈 선수의 대결, 과연 어떤 드라마가 좀 만들어 될지, 저그의 강세를 계속해서 쭉 이어나가게 될지, 아니면 프로토스가 저그를 몰락시키고 새로운 왕조를 만들어내게 될지.
The middle guy, the caster, is pretty much making all those high comments for both players.
저그 다 때려잡고 지금 이
Mini,
상황에서
you have been beating a lot of Zerg in this ASL Season 11. And if you beat Queen in the semi-final, you're gonna be making a new history or a new career, beating a lot of great Zerg players that make it into the final. And you showed all those dominant performance in this ASL Season 11. Mini said something about that was too quiet for me to understand.
변현재 선수 그 역사를 못 쓰는 거예요. 보입니까? 오늘 김명훈 선수 잡고 변현재 선수가
I think Mini wants to make a new history of this Protoss in an ASL tournament.
이제 우승을 하게 되면 이제 이번 시즌에 우승을 하게 되면 이제 사람들이 좀 많이 기억에 남을 것 같아요.
네.
그래가지고 이번엔 꼭 왕자의 자리에 앉겠습니다.
김명훈 선수가 두 번의
When
우승을
Mini
차지했습니다.
wants to be a
그리고
king in this
현존하는
ASL
최강의
tournament,
저그다
if he
3회
beats
우승에 굉장히 유력하다는
Queen,
이야기가
he'll be making it
있는데
to the final.
저그
And he
현재
thinks a lot of
입장에서
people will
김명훈 선수 까다로운 상대 아니에요?
remember him
원래는 까다로운
as a, like the last Protoss player, make it
승률이
into
뭐 프로토스전 90% 이렇다라고 할 때 이제 엄청 무섭다고 생각했는데
오!
16강에서 2대1로 제가 이겼잖아요.
예.
그때 해보니까
오!
승률이 말도 안 되게 높게 나왔더라고요.
예.
그래서 충분히 이제 4강도 할 만하다고 생각하고 있습니다.
와! 김명훈이 아니라 신명훈이다. 아니 김명훈 선수 지금 변현재 선수 입장에서는 변현재가 굉장히 미소를 지으면서 김명훈 선수 굉장히 쉽다 나의 승률 높다
Easy
이야기를
for
하고
him.
있습니다. 김명훈 선수 생각은 어떠세요?
뭐 그때는 솔직히 말해서
Did I lose
그
connection?
당시에 제가 조금
No, you're still here.
게임 내적으로 슬럼프가
Oh, I
있었어요.
guess mine
오,
froze.
그럼에도 불구하고 제가 이길 뻔했다는 거에 저는 더 높은 점수를 주고 싶고
오.
오늘은
So
연습을 진짜 많이
Mini
해와가지고
was pretty much downgrading Queen's performance and
그때는
not
연습을 안
believing
했고
about that 90% win
지금까지
rate
이
in the
선수가 역사에서
GDP.
가장 힘든 시기였다. 그럼에도 불구하고 이길 뻔했는데 지금은 어느 정도 연습하신 거예요?
지금 뭐 변현재 선수랑 그때 만나기 전에 승률이 90%였는데
네.
그 정도
So Queen said,
실수가
미니-
없네요.
네, 뭐 그리고 변현재 선수가 또
Mini
유통기한이
does
있는
not believe
선수라
of his
오늘 뭐 15분만
DVP
넘어가면
90% win rate,
아!
무조건 이긴다고
and he
장담을
kind
하고
of agrees,
그래서 초반
but
승부를
he thinks he will
막아낸다면
make it back to
사실상
90%
변현재는
again.
절대 이길 수 없다는 그런 확신이 있으세요?
네, 도재욱 선수랑 8강 하는
And
것도
Queen is pretty
초반을
much,
못해서 초반에 올인했다라고 생각을
Summarizing
하거든요.
of Mini versus
초반만
best
넘기면은 무조건
series,
이길 것 같아요.
와,
that Mini
초반에
was a bit
변현재
scared to play of a
유통기한이
late
지나면
game
못
against
되는지
best, so
아세요?
he
썩어요.
decided to do all those early rush
근데
versus best.
이제 대회에서 제 초반을 견뎌낸 사람들이 웬만하면 잘 없거든요.
오.
이제 16강 때도 똑같이 이제 초반을 못
So
버텼으니까
Queen was
이제
saying that
빠르게
if
끝난 거잖아요.
he
오.
그래가지고 이제
just
이번에는
makes it through,
이번에도
makes it smooth
초반에
and
좀
switch to
약간
late game
모습으로
after that early
압살하는
pressure
모습을
by Mini,
와,
then
예고를 하고
Queen thinks he
있어요.
will make it into
아니 초반에
he will advance it into
그냥
final
대놓고
easily.
초반에 끝나겠다.
And Mini said,
초반에
Queen,
막지도
you
못하면서
lost
어떻게
to me
막아낼
in
거냐.
the early game because you
막으실
couldn't
거예요?
defend, and all
이제는
of those
파악이 다 돼가지고 무조건 막을
early
것
mistake you
같고,
made,
that
was your
오늘
problem.
저는 그냥 초반만 넘긴다는 마인드로 왔기 때문에 뭘 해도 다 막을 수 있을
And
자신감이
Queen
있거든요.
said he
그럼 7,400
did prepare a lot
오늘
for
김명훈
those
선수가
early
지금
aggression
그림대로 경기 중
by
이어지게
Mini.
된다면은 몇
So he'll try
대몇
his
승부까지
best.
예상하세요?
좀 오늘
Any
많은
last
기대를
word to your
해주셨을
fans?
텐데
And Queen
저도
said
첫 판만 이기면은 4대 0.
if he wins the first game,
네.
if he wins the first game, he will advance into
초반
final
뭘 해봐도 다 막을 수
4-0
있다. 변현재
winning against
뻔하다.
Mini.
할거 뻔하다. 끝났다.
And Mini
4대
also
0이라는
thinks the
이야기하고
same thing.
있어요.
He hates to play the first
저도
map,
똑같이 생각하는 게
오.
제가 이제 첫
but
번째
the
경기를
rest of
제일
the other map,
좋아하는데
after the
그
first map,
맵을 제가 이기게
he
되면
thinks
문제를
it's going to be
가가지고
easy for him.
충분히
So if he
작용을
wins the
할
first
수 있어요.
game, so he will also
거기다가
win against Queen
변현재
4-0
선수에게
and
힘이
make it into
되는
final.
데이터가 하나 있습니다. 기적의 예측가
So
장윤철
the caster is
선수가
talking about
변현재
Snow's
선수의
prediction
4대1
that he
승리를
made it on a
예측해줬어요.
YouTube
그 부분에
video.
있어서는요.
Mini will make it
아,
into
솔직히
final
저를 예측하는 게
4-1
원래는
beating
좋아해야
Queen.
되는데 하도 틀리는 선수라 가지고
네.
안 좋아했거든요. 근데 이제 8강에서 이제 제가 그걸 뚫고 이제 올라왔고 4강에서도 이제 예측했기 때문에
네.
Mini said he will
예측이
try his
맞는
best and
모습을
make
제가
his
보여드릴게요.
prediction
그럼 끝으로
becomes
김명훈 선수에게
true.
한 말씀
So he will
해주시죠.
make it into final.
자 이제 2우승 했으니까
Queen, you have
이번에는
won
제가
too much
계속
ASL
올라갈
tournaments,
테니까
so it is time
4강에서
for me to
마무리
win the ASL title for this season. Any last word for Queen?
김명훈 선수도 변현재 선수에게 한 말씀 해주시죠.
Queen is talking about that
변현재 선수가
Mini is the
최고의
last
프로토스인데
survivor of a
10년
Protoss
전에도
player in
최고의
this ASL
프로토스한테
tournament.
안 좋은 기억이 있거든요. 네, 그때
And
지고 나서 되게
he
서러웠는데 그
does have some of the
감정을
trauma
반대로
losing to the last
프로토스의
Protoss
최후를
player.
맞이하게
the previous
해주면서
tournament, but
변현재 선수가 느꼈으면
He will overcome
하고
and beat Mini
하겠습니다.
and make it
네.
into final.
과연 프로토스 운명이 어떻게 될 것인지 이번 시즌 첫
And both of the players
번째
are ready.
가장 먼저 결승에 올라간 선수 결정이 되게 됩니다. 경기 준비 끝났고요. 이제 과연
And
어떤
we are going
드라마가
to
펼쳐지게 될지
start around
이번
the
4강전
fourth
대결을
semifinal.
시작하겠습니다.
Yeah, so this is going to be an exciting round of 4, even though there's no Terran here, which is what I wanted to see. This is definitely going to be a great matchup, and you know, even though all those pros were predicting a Queen victory, I'm actually on the mini train a little bit. Oh, are we gonna look at some highlights?
I think so, yeah.
다음 시즌에도 보여주길 바라겠습니다. 띄워요.
그래도 예, 햇대가 하나 있다.
와, 이 리본 하나도 있거든요.
프로브로 수비하는 것.
변현재.
민 변현재.
와, 김명.
이게 덮어버렸어.
오, 세 방향.
퀸 김명훈. ASL Season 11 Semifinal.
So as I was saying, I'm a little bit on the mini train, and the reason for that is, you know, sometimes I watch that Pro League format that you have played in, and often I see Mini and Zero play quite a bit. And Zero's, even though he has that high win rate in tournaments versus Protoss, I see a lot of times he ends up falling in the Pro League format. And just the other day, I was watching Mini play, and he was just crushing everybody. It almost seemed like he was trolling, like he was just killing them so easily. I even saw him play a PVT where he went like quadruple Reaver versus Terran and then started going Archons, and he built like 8 DTs. So I'm actually going to favor Mini here in this particular matchup. He seems to be a superstar in PvZ, and you know, when you're at the top for so long, people seem to take note and figure out ways to beat you. And Zero right now, he's at the top, and I think maybe Mini and players like Shuttle, you know, Shuttle was in the group with Zero also, and that series actually could have gone in Shuttle's favor. So I think I'm going to favor Protoss a little bit in this particular matchup.
I'm also looking at the online performance of both of the players. He has been playing really well in the online spawn matches, and he's currently ranked 4, beating a lot of Zerg like Doki, Larva 3-1. Unfortunately, he did lose to Hero 3-5, but Queen 2-1, Soma 2-0, Action 3-1, and 3-0 against Gamma. So Mini has been showing all of the great games on online. So if he continues to keep that online performance in this offline stage, then I think Mini will have quite a lot of a good chance to make it into finals.
We are getting a look at the maps right now. Hidden Track is the first map, and players have talked about how this map being basically impossible, Protoss versus Zerg. So we'll see if Mini has an answer here. Then Fighting Spirit, Polypod Eclipse, Ascension Players, Rhapsody, and then Ultimate Stream. The last time we saw Mini on Ultimate Stream, it was also a PvZ, and it looked like a position that he could not overcome. There was a massive contain right outside his natural, yet he was able to take a victory there. So if it comes down to Game 7, that should be a very, very exciting matchup. And as you mentioned, Mini crushing it versus Zerg these days. Even though he's crushing it, as I stated, when I watch him sometimes with his builds, it seems like he's trolling sometimes quite a bit. And even though he's so good, I'm a bit worried that maybe at some point ego gets to his head and starts, you know, kind of being too confident in his play and like, oh, well, I can just build a like mass DT here and win the game. That might backfire because that's such an expensive unit to build. So I'm just speculating here, but we are seeing the results of Mini in the past couple seasons, round of 16, round of 24, round of 16. Not exactly the results he wanted. I think like the host was talking about he hasn't been to the finals since season 4 or something, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been quite a while since he's made it into the finals. You know he's looking to finally make it back into the finals. And at the end of that introduction of the two players, actually, The Korean text said it was a Zerg dynasty, so you know that Mini definitely has that.
But he did not lose any of games of best of 5 series.
So match history says it's 2-1. We know that the most recent result here was in the round of 16, Mini beating Queen 2-1. And then Queen was almost eliminated by Shuttle. Shuttle, he even won the game with the Scout DT play. I remember the DT getting dropped into the main and Scout dealing a lot of damage to the drone line. You know, I've seen a couple players actually use Scouts recently, and it's surprisingly strong. It forces Zerg to actually be careful with their drones. Like, the Scouts can actually hit the ground, and you can lose them quite easily. Now, I'm not too sure what this page is saying.
It is showing about both of the players' key points. That Mini does not have any fear playing against Zerg, and he has been showing a lot of playstyles that people cannot predict, like showing random dark tempers from nowhere, or sometimes like a Corsair into some other playstyle. And Queen is also Queen has been winning best of 5 series 7 times in a row, and he's also defending champion. And he also lost to Mini in round of 16, so it's going to be his revenge match in this best of 7 series.
So it looks like we're about ready to get into our game. Of course, we're getting a look at the players. I'm sure their statistics will pop up in just a second. As you mentioned, a match list. This is from Season 11 completely. What was this versus So? He won, and then versus Mong, he lost. Then Miso, he won. Shuttle, he won. Zero, he won. Zero, he lost. Zero, he won. And then he crushed Best 3-0. That was one of the fastest best of 3 series I've ever seen. Absolutely obliterated Best. And, you know, I'm kind of hoping that we see some type of really aggressive play from Mini in at least one of the games. You know, I've always been waiting for Protoss players to bring back the old school 2-gate and then transition it into some type of macro play. They really don't do that anymore. And, you know, I think you were telling me that Hidden Track is impossible PVZ. Do you think that's something we could actually see on Hidden Track?
A lot of product players were making a comment that it was almost impossible to play on Hidden Track. However, the more they played, they started to figure out that which play style and which kind of a build order actually fits into hidden track. So, I think Mini might figure out how to play against Zerk in hidden track. So I want to see how he plays and what kind of playstyle he's going to be showing.
Yeah, it should be very interesting because, you know, even though we see a lot of these Zealot Pressure, Sarah style, like really heavy Zealot style, Protoss players have all types of options. You know, sometimes we even see the legendary Sarah Reaver. Maybe that's going to be in Mini's arsenal and bringing it back out on Hidden Track. So we are ready to get into the first game of the day, guys. It's going to be a best of 7. No longer are we doing best of 5s. So let's get into game 1 between Mini and Queen. It's going to be on Hidden Track. Remember, both players said if they win this map, it's going to be a 4-0 for them. So very important for each of them. So in at the top right are blue Protoss. It is Mini. In the bottom right in the yellow, our Zerg player. It is Queen. Now we've got vertical spawns. Does this impact Protoss's opener?
It may be because we can see Queen is sending his first overlord towards the 1 o'clock side, because as a Zerg player, they always want to send their first overlord scout to other spawning location of the natural, and that's what Queen is sending his overlord to. So whenever that first overlord gets into Mini's natural, he's going to be seeing everything, how much of a cannon he is going to be built, and how many zealots he is going to also make as well, and also the second gas timer as well. So if this is a little bit of a downside for Mini, because that overlord is pretty much seeing what Mini is doing.
Yeah, great scouting pattern for Zero. He's going to find him first, and meanwhile Mini unfortunately is going to top left, not going to find Queen in the first position. Now we've seen Forge expands kind of come back, and so far we might see it again. Mini, he's not putting down that gateway. Of course he could go for 12 Nexus, but that might be a disaster for him because Queen is scouting him first. Let's wait and see if this is going to be a Forge follow-up or if this is going to be a 12 Nexus. For now, okay, this I think is going to be the Forge.
It looks like it's going to be 12. Well, never mind, 11 Forge. So almost 12 Forge anyway. So he's gonna doing the double scout here, and we are seeing Queen is going for 12 hatchery into 11th drone scout, and he also scouts that there's a pylon and a Forge at the Mini's natural. So Queen knows what's coming.
Yeah, and you could see that there was vision blocking the pylon or Forge from seeing that overlord. So for now, or for a couple seconds, Mini didn't know that this. Oh, is this just gonna be a kill? Oh,
no,
how did the probe get
unlucky.
denied? Wow, that's a heartbreaking move right there. And now the drone is actually in position, and this shouldn't work anymore.
Oh, is he gonna do it once again?
Oh, he's gonna wall him in from that side, and Mini, he's just gonna try and cannon rush this. And second probe is coming in. Okay, what's the purpose of this second probe? Is it to try and mess up the... Okay, drone gets pushed through, but it's not in the sweet spot, and Mini's able to hit that drone and push it out, and now that's going to be a cannon going down for Mini. So he's decided that the way to get around this map is to just go for a cannon rush. And, well, remember, Sunkens have that weird AI where they can be out of range and still hit the Sunken. I imagine that's what Queen is going to go for.
Yeah, that second scout is pretty much buying a lot of time and not letting Queen to mine with that 4 drone. And also, it is also Queen to force the one of the Kree colony at the natural.
Okay, he loses the probe. There are 8 Lings out, and behind this, Cannon and Nexus is going down for Mini. That Cannon is quite slow. I don't know, does that sunken range the Cannon? No, it doesn't. And that means that that hatchery might go down, but remember, there's some weird AI going on with the sunken that it can potentially hit that Cannon. For now, you can see it stopped attacking the hatchery, and it's now attacking the pylon. That's quite weird. But Lings are moving into position. It's 8 Lings versus just 1 Cannon, and only a handful of probes. Is this enough to hold this?
I think this is not looking great for Mini, because Mini has spent a lot of resources just to build that 2 pylon and 1 single cannon at the 7 o'clock, and we are seeing Mini destroyed his own pylon. Both of the pylon has went down.
What?
So I think I know what it was happening. So whenever Mini was attacking that hatchery, that sunken AI attacks his sunken colony with the range bug. So he was attacking his own pylon, but the sunken was also attacking the pylon as well. So both of the pylon has gone down, and that cannon rush did not do much of a damage. So Mini also lost quite a lot of probe. We are seeing both of the supply count at 21, 22, somewhere around there, and this is not looking great for Mini, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought the Forge Opener was quite cute, but now also losing double pylon, that's a big deal. You can see that he's not supply blocked for now, but that's 100 minerals that he really didn't want to have lost at this point already. Meanwhile, Lings are going to come in here and clean up that cannon. We see that Queen has already taken bottom middle, so he's going into 3 hatch. He spent 100 gas, yeah, it's on the lair, but that cybernetics is already done, so Stargate's going to be coming up pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Queen of course sees it. Now that's a somewhat quick gas at his natural for how the game has started off.
I am expecting Mini might gonna go for super fast Corsair into DT playstyle, because normally you go for the second gas after the setup at Dune, like the Stargate and then the setup at Dune, and then building your second gas at the natural. But Mini has built the second gas as soon as the Stargate starts, so I have a feeling Mini might go for Dark Templar build, but I do not see any of the other techs besides the Stargate so far.
We see that this is a 4 hatch opener from Queen so far. 5th hatch I'm sure will go down pretty soon. Citadel starts basically when the Stargate finishes. I didn't notice the cybernetic spinning, so +1 not on the menu anytime soon. Meanwhile, there is the 5th hatch for Queen. As I stated, Lair is quite late in comparison to the Stargate, so we haven't seen a Spire start at all. Second gateway at the natural, and the Overlord has not seen this just yet, so this could catch Queen off guard a little bit. First Sair comes out, and now the Overlord is just gonna, oh, well, because he's not gonna kill that Overlord, it's actually gonna run in some Lings, and that's a decent amount of Lings, and it has potential to get quite a few probe kills.
I like how Queen's making his decision that he gave up going for the Spire tech, because he knows that he won't be able to get any Scourge to take down the Corsair nor even protect his own Overlord. So he went for the 4-5 hatchery into Hydralisk. And that Zerglings is also buying quite a lot of time and seeing what Mini is planning to do.
Well, Zealots are coming in, but they're going to see the bad news that there's already defense ready at the natural and third base. Sair has taken a lot of damage. It's already more than halfway dead. Meanwhile, the Lings, I know for a fact, have gotten at least 1 kill. That's going to be 2 gone. So these 4 Lings have already paid for themselves, and now he gets a 3rd probe kill. And remember, in the early stages of the game, Mini lost like 3 or 4 probes. So this is approaching like 10 total probe kills from just Lings. And Queen smells blood in the water because he's starting to build even more Lings, and this might be another run by.
That 3 Zergling inside of a Mini space is still alive, buying quite a lot of times, and also droning up at the same time as well. But we are seeing Mini cannot wait any longer, that he decided to move out with the 6 Zealot. But does he have the speed or no +1 attack? If he loses those Zealot before that +1 attack by those Zergling, that is not going to looking great for Mini, because without the +1 attack and losing those Zealots like that here and there, that is so unsatisfying.
He's lost 2 Zealots for free. Meanwhile, there's still 3 Lings in the main. Oh, that Templar Archive just walls off the Zealot, and he picks off another probe with these Lings. Luckily now, 2 of the Lings have gone down, so there's just 1 left. So the chances of more probe kills going down for Mini have been reduced drastically. But this is already the dream scenario for Zerg, because usually when I'm watching Protoss versus Zerg, Protoss is at maybe like 80, 90 supply versus a 70 supply Zerg. And actually, Zerg is ahead right now.
Yeah, Zerg is definitely ahead because we can see that both of the supply count is about even. But remember, Protoss army, they take 2 supply for each of a unit, the army unit. But however, the Zerg unit, they only cost 1 supply. So we can guess that both of the players have the same amount of worker count and the supply count. That means Queen has more higher value of an army count right now.
Oh no, he gets his Corsair intercepted and loses the second one. And we know pro players will muta-switch when they know that the Sarah count is low. So we'll see if that's going to be on the menu for Queen. But actually, I don't think he should even think about that. Just go kill this guy. He has so much more stuff than Protoss right now, and he's eliminated a decent chunk of the Zealots. Is Storm available is the question. The answer is yes, and that's a decent Storm. But there's only 1 cannon there.
Yeah, that one last cannon has gone down, but the reinforcement just came out from the Zealot. But that is a lot of Hydralists are coming, but it looks like Mini is winning this fight here and pushing Queen back.
Mini is able to push Queen back, but you know what I noticed with this army scan? Zerg already has +1 weapon, and I don't think Mini has +1 armor anytime soon. We can see that +1 weapon is done for him, but no +1 armor for now. Mini has finally taken a supply lead, but it's very minuscule. It's just 85 to 79. Robo coming up already for Mini. Now, I was looking if there was a Spire anywhere. We know that Lair is done, but I haven't spotted it. It's not in the main, it's not in the natural. So unless it's at the 3rd base, there is no potential muta-switch available.
I have a feeling that Queen is just gonna go for straightforward, getting +2 attack of a Hydralist damage, and go for the Lurker contain whenever he gets the Lurker upgrade complete, because we do not see any of a Spire attack anywhere. But he's also mining the 3rd gas, so all those 3rd gas that he's mining for, it is going to be spent for those Lurker in the late game. And we are seeing Mini finally getting ahead of a supply count, but he doesn't have any Dragoon yet. So this is, but okay, if he makes it through breaking this bridge, the Lurker contain before there's going to be a lot of Lurkers, it might be doable for Mini.
Yeah, he spotted the Lurkers, and that instantly triggered him to move out. Unfortunately for him, Lurkers are now already in position. There's 4 Templars available, but there's no Observer just yet. There's going to be a Storm on top of that Lurker, I think. No, he doesn't go for it, and instead that is a whiff. And first Observer is out now, but range I don't think is even close to being done. We can see more and more goons are being pumped out.
We can see plus Protoss Mini just got the armor 1 upgrade, so this is looking great. But that losing the Observer.
Yes, he lost the Ob. Overlord Hydra, very dangerous versus Observers. Now, there's not that many Lurkers with this army, surprisingly. Meanwhile, Queen is feeling confident in his position. He's going to be taking bottom left at some point. Supply block for now, it's still 120 to 110, so this is definitely still in favor of the Zerg. And Zerg has better position on the map. He can just sit outside these bridges. However, this is hidden track. You have multiple pathways. Mini could even think about going top left for whatever reason. And he also has access to bottom right, but he would be, you know, instantly countered if he goes for that. So I wonder what his move is going to be. You know, I'm actually having flashbacks to that Hidden Stream game where it was like, okay, Mini, what do you do now? How are you ever going to get out? And it looks like he's just going to go straight through. I don't know about this. His units are bunching up quite a bit.
Yeah, although the 4 Lurkers did pretty much a lot of damage to the Zealot and the Dragoon as well, but he didn't get much of a Storm top of the Hydralist. Okay, there's one nice Storm, but it's still not enough. Mini is deciding to take the 3rd expansion at the 12 o'clock slot, but before he takes that expansion, he really needs to break that contain, the Lurk contain.
Yeah, the contain is pretty fierce, and Mini is taking that top middle base as you stated, and Overlord goes down, and instantly Queen moves into position to try and snipe some units. He's going to snipe, oh, what was that, like 1 goon? He actually lost quite a bit there. We see a decent chunk of Hydras moving to the top side. Now, this pylon being built at top middle could have been a debate force some of Queen's units out of position. And now Mini's, yeah, he's going to go around the side, look for a counterattack. But what is Queen's response going to be? Because if he figures this out, he could just instantly move into position to go for a killing move at the natural. So far, Mini has not committed to bottom right just yet. He is just going to move back to the middle. Now, he needs to make a decision. He needs to either counter through the bottom or take a third base because it's approaching 15 minutes. And we know that these main and natural bases are going to... Oh, he's decided he's going to take mid-right instead.
That is somewhat aggressive expansion, I should say, because it is also vulnerable for Mini to defend that 3 o'clock expansion. But Queen is now going out to attack.
Templars don't have energy. Okay, that one does. I think one more store available. Those were pretty good. But look at all those units on the bottom side of the map. They're going to be funneling into this third base, and this might be a cancel onto that Nexus. Queen is just picking him apart, making him bounce between the top and the bottom, and that's going to be a dead Nexus. Sure, Queen's going to lose a lot here, but that's going to be the third base denied. The Observer got picked off too, so those Lurkers going to reign supreme.
Oh, that was a little unfortunate for Mini that Mini could not cancel that third Nexus. But at the same time, just by looking at the mini-map at the center, we can see not much of a Lurker at the bridge. So if Mini gave up that 3 o'clock expansion and just go for the center and break that Lurker contain, I don't know about this. The decision that Mini just made, just getting contained over and over and not breaking one of the other sides.
You know what I want to see, Scan? I want to see the next time Mini moves to the top side, I want to see an instant Lurker drop at the natural. We saw Hero go for that versus Snow, and it kind of just broke Snow's back. And when I was looking at the natural just a moment ago, there's absolutely no defense there. So I'm hoping Zero branches off a couple Lurkers and does that. Meanwhile, Mini again is going to try and push through the middle, but you can see that this angle is just so punishing. Look at all those units clump up on that one bridge, and now supplies are almost in favor of Queen. This was not the trade that Mini wanted, and actually he might tap out after losing all of these units. This was a decimation.
Yeah, all those zealots pretty much died to those Lurker damage, and the remaining Dragons doesn't even matter. The Hydralisk will just dominating that Dragon, and Mini taps out.
There is the GG, so convincing win from Zero. Mini kind of brought it back, honestly. He was playing pretty well after the early stages of the game. Remember, he failed a cannon rush. Lings ran in, killed 3 or 4 probes, and there was a second Ling run by that killed at least 5 probes. He lost something like 10 probes, before the 10-minute mark? Heavy losses, yet still able to get to mid-game and sort of, kind of late game. It was approaching the 15-minute mark, so even though Mini falls there, I think he recovered quite well, and he played about as well as he was going to play with such an opener. And as we've talked about, Hidden Track seems to be the worst map for Protoss, so I'm liking his chances going into the future maps despite his loss here.
That was a good macro game by Mini, even though he didn't win the game after losing so many probes by the Zerglings in the early and the mid game, and Zergling run by as well. But judging by that, the performance of how Mini played in the first game when he wasn't on a disadvantage side, I think he will play really well in the second and on the rest of the other games.
Yeah, and remember, this is best of 7, so there's no vetoes. That means we're going to see the full gauntlet, and I'm thinking what the second map is. If I remember correctly, it's Fighting Spirit. And almost every time Zerg players have had the option to veto it versus a Protoss, it's been vetoed. So finally, Protoss is going to get their chance to shine on Fighting Spirit. But before we see that, we're going to go into a quick break, and then we'll come back with Game 2 between Mini and Queen. Welcome back, guys. We're about to get into game 2.
하실트와 LG 울트라기어가 함께하는 ASL 시즌 11 4강 첫 번째 경기 결승으로 향하기 위한 치열한 경기에서
We just
1세트
now
경기
casted the
끝에
ASL
김명훈
Season
선수가
11
승리를 거뒀는데요.
Semifinal,
두 번째
the
세트
game number
만나보시기에
1.
앞서서 온라인으로 시청하고 계실 시청자
And a
여러분들께
great victory for
준비된
Queen.
이벤트 안내해드립니다.
But before we move
자,
into
먼저
game number
ASL
2,
공식 방송국에서
we're gonna be
7시까지
seeing
진행되는
some
승부
ASL
예측
Season
이벤트입니다.
11 event,
당일 경기 승리할 것
ASL
같은
prediction
선수
event.
투표하고
If you
응원의
make
댓글을
if you
남겨주시면
make that
추첨을
prediction
통해
right,
텀블러를
that's right.
선물로
Who
보내드리도록
makes it into
하겠습니다.
final?
자, 또 하나의
We got the ASL
이벤트는
Tumbler,
아프리카 게임은 e스포츠
and he also
SNS를 통해 진행되는
shows
시청
to
인증
Africa
이벤트인데요.
that you're
당일
also
경기
watching
시청하고 계시는
ASL.
사진을 댓글로 남겨주시면 역시 추첨을 통해서
You have to
ASL
show them
우산과
that
텀블러를 세트로
with the
보내드리도록
picture that
하겠습니다.
you're
네,
actually
많은 참여
watching the
부탁드립니다.
ASL. You also get the ASL
ASL
Tumbler plus
시즌
the
11
umbrella.
4강 첫 번째 경기 이 저그에 맞서는 프로토스의 유일한 희망 변현재 선수와 대기록에 도전하는
Mini is the
김명훈
last
선수의
survivor
대결이
of the
이어지고
Protoss
있습니다.
player
과연
in this
1세트
ASL Season
기세를
11.
몰아세워 김명훈 선수가 두
Queen
번째
has been
세트마저
showing lots of
따낼지
great
아니면
performance
실패한
here and there with the
사선
Zerging
승부가
aggression and the
따낼지.
Hydrolysis
두
aggression
번째
here and
세트
there as
변현재
well.
선수가 선택한
And
전략이
if Mini wants to win, he has to win this second game that he chose. He actually chose this map, Fighting Spirit, so he has to play really well.
I think this might be, our second time seeing Fighting Spirit PvZ. There hasn't been very many matches on it. I think a Ling run-by killed the Protoss player. I can't remember exactly. It was in the highlight that we just saw a moment ago.
Wasn't it Mini versus Miso on Fighting Spirit that he has gone for main base 2 gateway, and Miso has gone for 12 hatchery to 2 hatchery or something? I can't exactly remember, but I think that was a Mini versus Miso in round of 24.
Yeah, I also can't remember exactly how that game unfolded, but regardless, there has not been that many Protoss, well, really not that many games in general on Fighting Spirit, so finally we're going to get a couple more, or at least one more game today on Fighting Spirit. Let's get into game 2. See if Queen can go up to a 2-0 lead, or if Mini brings it back to 1-1. Alright, so in the bottom right, our red Protoss player, it is Mini. And then in the bottom left, in the blue, he's up 1-0, our champion. It is Queen. Now what I wanted to ask you was, we've been seeing more Forge expands, and other than giving you the option for Cannon Rush, what do you think the reason is that we see more Forge openers?
I think it just could be the map concept. The rush distance was super far, just like on, the Ascension. The rush distance is super far for the Zealot aggression when you're going for the gateway into expansion. And that could be the reason why quite a lot of Protoss players are bringing those Forge expand back. And we are seeing Mini has built that pylon at the natural and pulling back that probe. Looks like this is going to be a gateway opening by Mini.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to send that probe down again. We'll see if he does send it or if he continues to mine. Meanwhile, yeah, there goes that probe. So it is going to be a gateway expand for Mini. He's going to start putting on that aggression. Meanwhile, this time around, Queen's not going to get the first scout off. He's going to go top left, and unfortunately, Mini is not there. Now, Mini, he sends back that probe to get additional minerals, so he wants to get his econ rolling a little bit stronger than usual. Now, we have to point out, of course, that Mini's got bottom right, so he's got that horizontal mining. I saw him just do it right there. So he's really optimizing his econ right now. Meanwhile, this was an overpull from Queen.
Yes, Queen is playing really safe. Last game he has gone for the 12 hatchery, but he almost got the cannon rush. But that cannon rush did not work really well. But this time, Queen is a little aware of that Forge expand or even cannon rush in this Fighting Spirit, because you can also put down quite a lot of cannon behind all the mineral expansion. So we can see Queen has gone for the overpull into Drone Scout and then the 11 hatchery.
Yep, drone comes in, sees that this is a gateway expand. Meanwhile, Mini has not scouted at all, so he's going to have to try and guess exactly where Queen is. Now, the fact that there was a drone scout, I think kind of eliminates the possibility for it to be top right. So I imagine it just blindly goes to bottom left and is going to find queen in the first position there. Now, remember, this is an overpool, so he doesn't know, well, because he hasn't scouted, he doesn't know what this is. Things could be surrounding him.
It is interesting that he hasn't done any scout. Maybe he expected queen will go for the overpool because going for 12 hatchery in the fighting spirit in such a small rush, small map, or it's not a small map, but the rush distance is so close that not a lot of Zerg players go for 12 hatchery. So I think Mimi is just pretty much eliminating all those possibility that queen will not go for the 12 hatchery. So he did not go for any of a probe scout, and he is trying to optimize his build order as much as he can and speeding up all those tech right now. We can see Mini already has built that simulator in the main base, and still no forge at the natural.
Yeah, still no forge. Mini has put down that nexus extremely fast. It's even faster because of that horizontal mining. I constantly see him looking at his nexus in his main, so you know he's constantly doing it over and over and over. Now he's got that forge going. He started to mine gas, and I think that was even a cybernetics before the forge. I think that's right next to the nexus at the natural. So Mini is in an amazing position right now. Oh, that's a pylon. So I thought for a second that was a cybernetics. Regardless, he's killing it right now, but Queen has his third hatch up at mid left. I think Queen just ended up going into lair again. Oh, no, maybe it might have been speed.
Yeah, it is a metabolic boost on the way for Queen. Queen is not mining any of our extra Vespene gas because he's preparing for whenever Mini moves out with a small amount of Zealot, he will try to go for backstab like Zergling run by once again, or even crush all those Mini Zealot before the +1 attack finishes. But this time we can see Mini is already spinning that forge and getting that Stargate now, so we can expect Mini is gonna go for heavy Zealot aggression just like a previous game.
Yeah, we might see that coming in from Mini now. Meanwhile, Lings, I guess, suspect that there might be a Zealot out on the map, but we see that that's not the case. And this is an interesting opener from Queen because that is 4th hatch before lair. 5th hatch should be starting pretty soon. He's just now started to mine gas again. So he's really ramping up his production and his hatchery count before getting into that tech. And that means that this Sayer is going to get a bit of damage done. Citadel is pretty darn fast too. That's almost done. And there is the second gateway. So this Zealot count is going to get scary high in just about a minute and a half from now.
Yeah, Queen was suspecting of any of a Zealot hidden out on the map or even Probe, because normally when you play PvZ, you should be seeing Probe Scout all the time, like checking how fast your lair is or Hydra Den and every kind of Zerg build. But Queen did not see any of Probe Scout, so he was suspecting of any Probe at the 11 or 12 o'clock site. But I like how Mini is optimizing this build order without game timer, I suppose, because he's suspecting all those the move by Queen and guessing what Queen is actually doing, and he's reading off the Queen's mind really well here.
As I'm watching this build unfold for Queen right now, what's funny is if Mini had built a scout, he would have been able to deal damage to that natural because there's no defense other than that spore.
Oh, Zealot.
Ooh, Zealot might get taken down, but no, it does manage to get away. This is like 9 Zealots, man, and that was a spore at the natural, not a sunken. Queen needs to start ramping up his production, otherwise these Zealots might just go for a killing move. Like, look, there is almost no defense here. It's just pure Lings, and +1 weapon should be kicking in within the next 30 seconds or so.
Wait, is this the armor one Zergling that he tried to do it in a round of 16?
Oh, +1 kicked in. Let's see if these Lings are going to be able to trade effectively. For now, they're not. Look at how fast they die, and none of the Zealots are even injured at all. And if he picks off +1 armor right here, that's a massive kill for him.
Yeah, that was a very bad trade for Queen because he didn't kill any of the Zealots and lost tons of Zerglings. And Queen is desperately trying to defend that Evolution Chamber. He really needs to get the armor one on the way, but does he have it?
No,
he doesn't.
So he eliminates +1 armor, and you know that that's what Queen was going for. And this is still 7 Zealots with +1 right on his doorstep. The Sares have already gotten down 1 Overlord. He's going to find a second one. He's got to be careful with that Sare because taking a decent chunk of damage. Meanwhile, back in Mini's main, I see he's put down a couple more gateways. There's Lings in the back, but they don't have that armor upgrade, so they are quickly falling. The drone drills are pretty good, but this is already starting to swing in Mini's favor.
I was also looking at Mini's base, each base before that Zealot aggression starts. He was cutting off quite a lot of probe here and there. So he was pretty much boosting up his +1 attack Zealot aggression and also having more gateway top of the simulator at the main base. I want to see how many gateways he has built. Finally, the Dark Tempest just came out. Oh, that's a robotic facility.
He already has the robo done. He's going to drop these off into the main. Remember, the overlords are scared of these Sares, so they're all just hovering around that spore. That means there's probably 0 overlords in the main, and this could kill tons and tons of drops. He may even get the hatchery, because remember, I don't think he has lair yet. That's a very low health building. Well, sure, it's still 1200, but it's not like the 1800 that a lair has. And Sares, yeah, I think that the Sares are just going to be able to push. Okay, Hydras are moving in position. If those are overlords, this is exactly what Zero needs. But they're Lings, and that means that these DTs are going to deal tons of damage.
Damn, that the egg just got killed, and these 2 Dark Temples are pretty much the killing Zerg eggs. And Queen was trying to get the Overlord, but he couldn't really actually get it. More Dark Templars has come to 9 o'clock side.
Remember what I was saying? I watch Mini in Pro League, and there are just some moves he does. I'm like, are you trolling, dude? Like, why are there 4 DTs in that Zealot army? And he's gonna move to the natural, and there's nothing there because all the Hydras went into the main.
Wait, what is he gonna kill? Spire?
He's gonna kill everything. Those are DTs. Well, he's killing drones left and right, but the drone drill was fantastic. There's a decent amount of Hydra still left over. Oh, DTs are going to try and run into the main. What's funny about this is this one Sare might be able to kill the Overlords, and now there's 4 DTs in the main. He's the goodbye lair. 100% that's gone. But how does he get these DTs out now?
It doesn't even matter. The lair has fallen, so that's all it matters for Mini, because Mini definitely knows that Queen won't be having the overlord speed at any time soon. The Dark Tempest will pretty much buy a lot of time, and he also knows that there's no sunken at the natural. And I wonder how Queen is going to be defending the Zealot aggression with the high temperatures combo.
Yeah, this is a lot more Zealots coming into the natural. Those drones that were in the main got transferred to the 3rd base. Uh-oh, Storm could be devastating if it hits the Hydras or the drones. It kind of misses there. Now it gets a couple of Hydras at the bottom, but he still has 2 more Storms available. I want him to just storm the drones, but I guess it doesn't matter. He's just going to kill everything and go into double Archon. Look at supplies. It's 80 to 45. We are moments away from watching Queen tap out of this game. He has no answer to this. Drones being pulled onto Archons. That's going to be quite funny when these Archons actually morph. There's one of them. They morph, and they're just going to kill everything again. So many Zealots running in. And there's the GG. Mini is going to tie it up 1-1.
Who would expect Zealot speed aggression into 8-minute Dark Temper drop this fast? And Queen probably did not expect of this Dark Temper drop, and didn't even expect extra 4 Dark Temper would be coming to his natural as well.
Yeah, I would have to watch the replay to find out when the Robo was built. You know, actually a lot of time went by from when the initial Zealot fight happened on the Evolution Chamber before the DT drop happened. I wonder if once he saw the Evolution Chamber in Spore, he's like, oh, okay, I know what this is. You're just actually going to have no Overlords in your main. And if that was the case, that was a great transition from Mini. And then he ended up building those mass DTs. Now I can tell you, if that's me in that game in Queen's situation, and I see this guy just troll kind of building 6 DTs, I'm not happy. And I'm actually kind of mad and really want to slam this guy in Game 3. But it can also be one of those games where you know the guy's fooling around and just toying with you and kind of depresses you a little bit.
While we were watching that, Mini was doing the optimization of those build timer. I'm kind of impressed that he is cutting quite a lot of probe, unlikely compared to the other producers. Most of the producers, they try to gear up all those probe count really fast and then start macroing in the middle game. But Mini was cutting his probe here and there just to optimize that build order and get all the zealous speed faster and dark temper drop really fast, and that was really impressive by Mini.
Yeah, you know, a lot of Flash builds are low SCV count, but he ends up building SCVs when he needs to, like when an army trades or when there's action on the map, and that could be basically what we're seeing from Mini here. He's optimizing his build, as you mentioned. He has a low probe count, but behind it, while stuff is going on, he ends up building probes. He doesn't forget to build them when he knows that he already has a low probe count. Well, I thought we were going to go into a commercial, but we're just going to go straight into Game 3. Our third map is going to be Polyoid, and this is going to be a huge 4-player map. I don't think we're going to see another short 10-minute game. So let's get into Game 3, see who's going to take a lead in this series. So in the bottom right, or in the top left, we have our blue Protoss tying the score. It's Mini, and then in the bottom right, you saw him move that drone to that top position, get that horizontal mining going. It is Queen. Every time I watch now and I'm looking at a player on the right side of the map, I'm like, okay, is there a mineral patch that he can horizontal mine there from?
Yeah, we can slowly see. There's also a mineral boost for Protoss at the left side of the mineral. The very bottom one, it also boosts the mining time for Protoss players. And we can see the Queen's main base. He's also working on the horizontal mining, constantly pressing that return cargo every time when that drone picks up the mineral.
Yeah, so there is the, of course, forward pylon. I was kind of hoping to see some proxy gates in the center of the map, but not going to be the case this time around. Probe goes back into the main, and this potentially could be another gateway expand. Of course, we don't know yet. This could be Forge expand, it could be 12 Nexus. I would like to see 12 Nexus or 11 Nexus, but not going to happen. This is going to be the gateway. And meanwhile, Queen, this is not going to be overpull. He's banking up those minerals. Probably going to be going into that 12 hatch.
Is he? I'm gonna look at carefully what Mini is gonna be doing. Whether he's gonna go for gateway into expansion or 10 gateway into 12 gateway. So 2 gateway, because you can see you can actually wall off the natural with the double gateway. I wonder if Mini is planning to do that.
Yeah, that is a potential. You know, I always wall this position as Terran, so I know that 2 big buildings can fit right there.
So this is a pylon at the main base. So we are not gonna see that 2 gateway at the natural, but we are still seeing the same playstyle from the previous game that Mini did not go for any of a probe scout. So I really like this decision of how Mini prepared for this tournament match, because this is a best of 7 series. You can't pretty much you can't always scout and react to your opponent's strategies, but Mini is forcing Queens to react to how Mini is playing. So I like how Mini is optimizing with the no scout build and going for the Zealot aggression into an expansion here.
You know, something to point out as far as optimizations is Queen ended up going for the 12 hatch instead of the 11 hatch. We saw Hero have good success with that in his ASL matches, so seems like Zergs today not feeling so pressured to get down their hatchery and pool ASAP. They're going to go for the more greedy 12 hatch opener. Meanwhile, third hatch going down for Queen at bottom middle. Extractor already done, so this is the typical 230-ish gas opener from them. And I think that this is probably going to be for Lair this time. First couple lings are popping. The Zealots, again, have just held back. They have not gone out at all. And I wonder if that's going to be a Forge or Cybernetics. I mean, Mini has the Dream opener right now. Unfortunately, he hasn't scouted, right? He doesn't know what this is, so this is going to be a Forge. He's going to play it safe.
Yeah, he realized that this wasn't an overpull by the Queen, because previous game when Mini had 2 Zealot, couple of Zerglings were try to buy some time at Mini's natural, but that time already has passed. So Mini probably realized that Queen did not go for the overpull, but he still does not know what Queen is actually doing, whether he's going to go for the Zergling speed once again without lair tag, or maybe the lair tag, or even no speed Zergling into the super fast Hydralisk 973 build. So we are seeing Mini made it inside of Queen's main base and checking out how fast the lair tag is.
You know, this Zealot count is very, very high already. I kind of want to see him put down a Citadel and just run at this guy before the Spire completes. You know, a lot of Zerg players don't end up building mutas in the initial stages. They just go straight into Scourge. So, okay, I see a big building going down in Mini's main. I think that is the Stargate. So unfortunately, not going to go for the Hail Mary, just run at this guy with Mass Zealot. +1 has started on the Forge, and 2 Zealots have snuck out onto the middle of the map.
We can also see, oh, this might be the Dark Templar build, but I'm not sure, but we still see that +1 attack Forge upgrade is spinning, so I can't really exactly tell, but judging by the Sirava, the Adun time, and the Stargate time, and then the second gas at the Mini is natural, I have a feeling this is going to be the Corsair into super fast Dark Templar aggression, where he showed in a round of 16 Polaris Rhapsody.
So we may see that the probe is in position to build that Templar Archive ASAP. We know that Mini's mining the gas that is natural. So he's going to go for a heavier tech build. He's not going to go into a gateway flood like 4-gate and Mass Zealot Man with just Sayers. First couple Zealots are going to move out. This is already 6 Zealots.
Ooh.
There's only 4 moving out right now, but he has 2 others. Now, Queen, I don't think has enough Lings to engage this. That probe might be building something at the natural. We may see another second gateway go down there.
I like seeing Queen is optimizing his build order as well, and not making too many Zerglings, and not overreacting to how much of a how many Zealots Mini was making, and he's now spreading around his Zerglings. He will spot it.
Double Stargate. There's a second one in the main. And I like this move because the Zealots are moving out. And I think the intention of this move out is to like say, hey dude, I know you're in between a phase of making Surge or making mutas. Now I'm going to force you to make mutas here. And unbeknownst to you, what's actually happening is I'm going double Stargate. So you're going to have all these mutas that are just going to be useless to you. So this could be a clever move from Mini right now. His +1 is not done just yet. I think it's about 30 seconds away again. Scourge were produced, and they are just shadowing these Zealots for now.
Yeah, that Zealot is trying to climb up. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, the +1 is already done.
That's not a sunken. That's just a regular creep build. He gets on top of it instantly.
That is not looking great for Queen. Queen was a bit greedy, and is that the 6 hatchery? Yeah, that must be the 6 hatchery. So Queen was how should I say, over making the hatchery and not making the sunken on time, and those Zealots with the +1 attack did not die anything and just picked up all the Zerglings.
Yeah, this is a genius move from Mini. As I stated, the move out was just to say like, hey man, I know you don't have anything. You've got to build mutas to be able to deal with these Zealots. And now he's going to have mutas being built versus Zealot Sair, and we already know that the Zealots are heavily upgraded. They already got +1. We already know the count is extremely high. The Sair count is what, like 7? It's at 6, and I don't know if he has +1 weapon, but as soon as he sees the Sair count, he's gonna know he's been gotten. The mutas they missed the Zealots, and this third base is about to get ransacked.
Okay, fine. He did catch that one of the Zealots were coming to 6 o'clock side, but these 6 Corsairs without +1 attack and did not even react, so all the Scourge will go down.
Oh, the Zealots get a decent surround on the Sunken. I think that's going to fall, and these Mutas and Scourge are going to get murdered. The Sairs are going to wreak havoc on everything. Scourge are not able to connect. Mutas are about to die.
Oh
they don't have
God.
armor. Overlords are going to die too. That's going to supply block Queen. He can't even build Hydras right now. He's just building Lings.
I really like this strategy. How that Mini did not get the +1 attack, and with that 100 Vespin gas, he built that extra Stargate, so he will have mass Corsair without the +1
He's
attack.
blocked.
And this timing attack with the mass Corsair and a couple of Zealots, he did it.
I think it is over. Queen's permanently supply blocked. He can't even build anything to stop the Sayers from killing the other Overlords. Now he's at 45 out of 29. He comes back to deal with this one Muta, but really he doesn't even care about it. It just instantly dies. And it's not like Mini even has that many gateways. I'm just now seeing him put down more gates. Still supply block. Overlord pops, instantly dies. Now he's back down. There's more DTs. And Queen taps out. What a sick timing and sick understanding of how Zerg is going to react to just seeing the Zealots.
Wow. The Mini's optimization with the building timing is super excellent.
Yeah, even though Queen is the champion, when you see a build like this was just complete outplay from Mini. Like, there was really nothing Queen could do unless he had full knowledge of what was going on. Queen played how you're supposed to play. You see Zealots, you have nothing to counter it other than Lings, and they don't have armor. You gotta go Mutas, you don't have the time for Hydras. But Mini knew that was gonna happen. This was just, and look at his face, stone cold killer. Just absolute brilliant play from Mini.
And we should also remember that wasn't 2 gateway Zealot speed, it was only a single gateway, pressuring with the single gateway, making into 6 Zealot pressure there. And that +1 attack did so much of a damage, and Zerglings just got demolished.
Yeah. There's a reason Protoss players always rush +1. When they have to fight Lings like that, you can see that Ling is not the unit you want. It just has no chance versus the Zealots. Now I think we're going to be going into a Hot 6 commercial, I have a feeling. And then we're going to be going into a real commercial and come back with Game 4. But Mini, even though he lost on Hidden Track, he is crushing Queen. And I'm kind of sad that Queen didn't see the mass DT coming out at the end.
You're hearing this music, I have a feeling this is going to be a Hot 6 commercial. Yeah, they're showing the Hot 6 right now, so I think we're gonna be seeing, yes, we are seeing the Hot 6 commercial.
Into the rain, he's back. He's got to chug a drink before we go into Game 4. You know, actually at the convenience store right next to my house, the Hot 6s are on sale right now. I think I got to be like a GS25 Prime member or something to get it, so I can't get it because I'm not registered for that, but they are on sale. I should look into that.
And this time, he is holding the red Hot 6. I wonder what that tastes like.
That's the punch one, I think. That should be like the fruit punch flavored one, I'm sure. As I mentioned, guys, in my experience with the Hot 6, it kind of tastes like raspberry. And you had the white one also. We both got the white.
I had the white one.
What was that? The White Force? I can't remember exactly.
The King Force.
Yeah. The names are quite hilarious. I took a photo of them. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I think I also have the photo on my phone.
But anyways, now with that Mini's up 2-1, what are your thoughts for Queen in the remaining games? Because, you know, fighting spirit game, you can chalk it up to like, okay, lost Carapace, well, that's devastating, and it kind of snowballs from there. But Game 3, that was just pure mastery of the PvZ matchup and pure mastery of understanding what's going through the Zerg mind. So what are your thoughts on Queen in Game 4 and 5? Like, what does he need to change so that type of scenario doesn't happen again?
I think Queen has to do a little bit of a mixed playstyle, like unorthodox. I think that's the word for it. Like unpredictable moves or unpredictable playstyle that not a lot of Zerg players do. That's what Queen might really needs to do in game number 4, because all those Queen's performance in this game number 1, 2, 3. A lot of Zerg players has been doing that for like years and years and years, and it was just pretty much standard. And Mini knew Queen will do the pretty much classic standard opening, and Mini never went for the scout. Oh, I think we're gonna go back. We're gonna go to commercial.
We'll be back in just a second, guys. We are back, guys. We're about to get into Game 4. A must-win for Zero. If he doesn't get the win here, he's going to be down 3-1. And it's almost impossible to come back from a 3-1 deficit. You don't see that often. So really, he needs to tie the score up right here. Otherwise, Mini's going to be in the driver's seat. And we know that this guy is super dangerous, as you saw. Versus Best, he went for those killer 9-9 gates. And he could go for some type of cheese move versus Queen. In Game 5 or Game 6 without really any penalty for it. He would still have a 3-2 lead. So this is really mandatory victory for Queen. I don't know if he'll be able to recover if he goes down to 3-1. Now you were talking about maybe Queen needs to go for something unorthodox to bring it back versus Mini. So what do you think is an option for him to do such as, what type of strategy are we looking for from him?
So I want to finish off talking about how Queen was not playing any of a unorthodox playstyle. Like, he was playing way too classic playstyle that Mini was absolutely prepared for this. Mini did not go for scout. He was doing his own build order, and just like playing against computer. You know how pro players, before going to their match, they play against computer and constantly practicing their optimization over and over and over, and that's what Mini was doing with the build order and with the game timer. And we saw Mini didn't even go for the scout until he built his forge, and he also went for the 2-star gate because a lot of Zerg nowadays they go for Muta Scourge. You saw Larva against Larva has gotten that third gas really fast and make the Muta, and then making a lot of Scourges to win the air battle fighting against the Eclipse there. And Mini prepared for the 2-star gate opener without the +1 attack, and that was completely a counter against the Muta.
Well, we are getting into Game 4, guys. Remember, Mini up 2-1. This is a must-win for Queen. Let's see if he can bring it back. Map is going to be Eclipse. In the top right, we have our Protoss player. It is Mini. And in the bottom left, our Zerg champion, surprisingly down 2-1 in this series, it is Queen. Now, with bottom right, okay, we're going to have some shenanigans, and this is what I'm talking about. With Mini piloting the Protoss, you can face all types of moves. You know, actually, as I saw him get top right, I was thinking to myself, you know what, Scan? We might see another cannon rush, but this is not going to be a cannon rush. This might be that 9-9 gate.
Yeah, I'm almost expecting the same thing as you are thinking right now. He's already sending out the probe all the way to 6 o'clock, very close to Queen's natural, and that Overlord will not see pylon. And was that an 8 pylon? No, never. That was an 8 pylon by Mini. Now, I wonder whether Queen is gonna go for 12 hatchery, because we know that the rush distance is super far. The gateway expansion is super easy to defend with the 11 hatchery or 12 hatchery as well. So I don't know what Queen is going to be doing, whether Queen is going to go for classic.
He's already
no
passed
pool.
200 minerals, and this is what I was going to ask you. If you're in this situation as Queen, obviously hatch first is not the move. That's going to be an unstoppable condition or build that Mini has. Oh no, it is hatch first, and well, we are probably about a minute and a half away from seeing this series go 3-1 in favor of Mini, unless there is some absolute immaculate drone and lane control. He is going to have such a hard time facing this, and I have to point this out because we haven't seen this in the past 2 games. Notice when Mini was aggressive with the Forge, he scouted quickly. Again, he's being aggressive and he scouted quickly. Now, this is something I would keep track of going into the remaining games, because this could be a tell already for what Mini wants to do to you. And pool just now goes down, and this is Heartbreak Hotel for Queen in about 20 seconds once he sees that Zealot walk into his base.
Yeah, I think Mini is just gonna win this game because of the build order of both of the players. It's just pretty much like a rock paper scissors. And Mini just brought the rock, then I should say scissor, then Queen just show the paper.
Really, all I'm waiting for is I'm waiting to see the shield battery. That's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the pylon and battery to go up. This pool isn't even close to being done. It's still got about 150 health left. The drone,
Ooh.
this is really good control, but you can see already a drone falls. Sunken is gonna start morphing, but there's two. Okay, he gets another drone. He eliminates the probe. Three drones fall, but the drones have... Nope, Zealot's going to walk away. And now, even though Queen is going to save his main, he's going to lose his natural. And not only is he going to lose the natural, this is going to be Larva that's lost. And this is exactly what you should do in this situation. Put Zealots on hold position on that ramp. They're going to trade so well.
One thing that Queen can actually make a turnaround would be making as much of a Zergling as he can from that natural hatchery, and go for the base trade, giving up that natural expansion and sending all those Zergling to Mini's main base. And I think Mini doesn't have any units besides probe at the Mini's main base, so he's finally sending out that 2 Zerglings, but losing that early 2 Zerglings by the Zealots, that wasn't actually great. But Mini is just completely on great position, taking down the hatchery, and he also knows what's coming to his main base.
Yeah, so these lings...
The lings...
Okay, 3 of them get by, and now this ling count that's at 2, not too scary, but once the 3 other lings get across the map, it could get a little bit wild. But of course, Queen is in such a horrible position. It might be different if he had something like a second hatch in his main where he could use some more larva, but he still doesn't even have another hatch going. You can see that he started to go into gas. He's got 40 gas already. So he's gonna, I guess, go into like Hydras and try and push these Zealots back, but there's already like 8 Zealots.
Probably it is going to be the lair attack for Queen, because if he goes for Hydraless and Mini scouts that there's a Hydra Den at the main base without lair attack, Mini's just gonna be building mass cannon at the natural, and he'll forever get stuck. And that's a nice pro pickup here and there, but still not enough.
Yeah, he got way more probes than I was expecting, and I think that is a lair. God, that's so many Zealots.
Yeah, now Mini knows this is a lair attack on the way, but the Sunken Colony is so out of position, cannot even protect the Extractor.
I was wondering if that was going to be out of position, and this is going to be a tilter, so even if he gets the lair Inspire, he's not going to be able to build any Mutalisk, really. Another drone has to be wasted on a Sunken Colony. That's going to hurt his econ even further. There goes the Extractor, and this is an overwhelming... I think he could just focus down the pool at the bottom. He's going to focus down the colony at the top.
He's just going to go in.
Oh, all the drones are out of position now. That means goodbye Sunken Colony at the top, goodbye Sunken Colony in the middle, maybe? This is a great hold, but Queen just doesn't have anything.
Yeah, losing one hatchery versus 2 gateway, 1 base Protoss, and that was just way too many Sunken Colonies for Queen to defend, and that was a bit unfortunate. At the same time, I want to point out that if Queen decided to send out all the Zerglings from the natural hatchery, the larvae, the extra Zerglings to Mini's base as soon as possible, I wonder if the game would have changed, because I think Queen did not expect of the proxy 2-gate whenever he has gone for 12 hatchery, and maybe he didn't prepare for this. He didn't actually knew how he should be reacting to proxy 2-gate in this kind of situation. So I can see Queen is starting to lose his mentality here.
Yeah, and Mini's in the driver's seat because he was smiling when he saw the 12 hatchery. He knew that it was over as soon as he saw it. And the funny thing is, I think he should just do it again on the next map. I think that again, Zero's going to go for a 12 hatch. Of course, I don't remember exactly what the map is, but I want to see Mini just... I just want to see the dagger straight through the heart of Queen here and just let him know, like, not only can I beat you in the mid game, I can also crush you in the early game. And he is a stone cold killer. The fact that he was smiling when he saw that, that's ruthless.
Mini's performance with the mind game and the optimization from game number 2 and 3, that was super excellent by Mini. And now Queen really needs to do something to make this table around.
Yeah, and I just don't know what the answer is. You know, even though you're saying that you think Queen needs to do something unorthodox, I actually just want to see him play standard 3-hatch lair with 5-hatch. Remember on Polyoid, even though he got crushed, he had a 6-hatch so fast for no reason. Like he didn't know what Mini was doing, yet he decided on the 6-hatch. I think he needs to just go into the standard, whatever it is, 5-hatch, and play a normal game from here. Don't get thrown off at all. Don't try and rush +1 carapace to try and nullify +1 weapon. Just get into a normal game with this guy.
Yeah, Mini is absolutely top of the Queen's head right now. He knows what Queen is actually doing, and whenever Queen is doing something, he just counters every strategy that he does. And we are gonna be moving into game number 5. The game number 5 map is chosen by Queen, Ascension, 3-player map with a very far rush distance, and the map concept is very similar to Blue Storm.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the 3-player Blue Storm right now. Mini is 1 game away from taking the first best of 7 in the round of 4 and moving into the finals. And Queen, he has to start mounting a comeback now. Otherwise, his 3-peat chances, they are over. So in the top, or in the bottom left, in the blue again, he's 1 game away. It is Mini. And in the top middle, trying to 3-peat, but his life is on the line. It is Queen. So we
judging by the spawning location, I can 12 o'clock has the best mining, I suppose, but the least mining position for this Ascension map is a 7 o'clock, so Mini is on a disadvantage side judging by the spawning location and then the mining time, and Queen is gonna be ahead of the play count because of the larvae, and then also he's spending all those minerals for the drones here.
Now I remember you saying that 12 o'clock in the games that had Terran, that was not a good position for walling. However, does this affect Zerg's, semi-walling potential here, or does it not really matter that much?
It doesn't really matter, and he can Queen can actually does the mineral boost. He's doing the mineral boost, the horizontal mining, the top the right side of the 4th one of the mineral patch, and it also one of the mineral patch also bounce from the hatchery. It's like an automatic mineral boost. So he does have 2 mineral boosts for the 12 o'clock side, and he's gonna go for 9 pull here, not overpull nor 12 hatchery this game.
Yeah, and this is not going to be a canceled extractor either, so this is going to be fast speed. He's expecting this to be some type of zealot opener, whether it's a 2-gate or just the single gateway expand. He is going to be ready for those zealots moving across the map. We see that Mini is just going for the typical gateway expand.
Something just came into my mind. Remember, I kind of play a lot about Pro Leagues with those other ex-pros in Africa. They told me about this. Whenever Zerg is going for the 9 pull, you have to go for Forge first before the Nexus. And previous game, Mini has been showing the gateway opening without Probe Scout, and he was pretty much playing the blind build order with the gateway opening, and I think that's what Queen has come up with for the game number 5 here.
Yeah, so this could be what you're talking about, where this is kind of a blind counter to what Mini's doing, and that probe is moving into position to put down that Nexus, and with speed coming in quite quickly, this might be a game-ending Nexus for Mini, unbeknownst to him. Now Lings are moving across the map. Now this, I think Lings can move into, oh no. That zone might actually get surrounded.
I think Mini is in trouble because he doesn't have any forge nor shield battery at the natural.
Yeah, he still doesn't know what this is because, as you stated, he doesn't scout at all. There's a pylon in the main. That's not going to help him at all because he needs to start sim-citying his natural. Speed is moments away from kicking in. There it is. It has kicked in, and he is in trouble now.
Yeah, he knows that Zergling speed is not done. Ooh.
Okay, that first cell is going to fall, second cell is going to fall. This probe is not helping at all. It has a surprising amount of DPS, versus Lynx. But that one Zealot in the main, what happened to it? It's just hanging around somewhere. Now it's coming to the natural, but it's too late. This pylon's gonna fall. This is over. Well, I think it's over.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Whenever you're facing against the 9-pole, not the overpole. Overpole is really slow. But if you're facing 9-pole, you always need to build Forge first before the Nexus. And he misplaced the cannon in the main base, so he has to cancel once again. But also trying to defend the natural really well. The probe drill was really nice, saving his natural. But the more Zerglings are also coming.
More Lings are coming through the front. That Zealot is so dangerously close to falling. The Zealot in the back is still alive. The probes are doing a lot of damage. Look at them do damage, do work. And has he stabilized? Look at the supply. Mini's still got a decent probe count because the Lings have been focusing these Zealots for so long. Now he's surrounding that cannon completely. Cannon in the main means there's going to be no more harassment there. And I think that potentially Mini might have held this. He's got to get this cannon up though.
Yeah, if he gets the cannon up, and we can see Queen forgot to build his third hatchery.
Queen is falling apart here. He's over microing the Lings, and they're not doing any damage. He realizes the desperation now that the cannon's about to complete. And what looked like a fantastic position for him, now Mini's gonna have his Nat up and running. He lost what, maybe 2 probes, and that's it. And Queen has been he's committed so hard to the Lings.
Look at the supply count too. It's almost double amount of a supply count. Those Zerglings doesn't even matter anymore because he got those cannon at the natural, cannon at the main base. And now Queen is trying to go for the late game, mid game switch and droning up here, but it doesn't really even matter. That 2 Nexus is already complete. All those probes that Mini has lost, he can just restore the number of the probes that he lost immediately and go for the tech really fast.
There was a clutch moment in this game, and I don't know if you saw it, but right when the pylon died, a Zealot popped out. And if that Zealot didn't pop out, this game would have been over 100%. Mini literally barely holding on. And because Queen committed to so many Lings, he doesn't have the drone count that you're expecting. He also floated 600 minerals that, like you said, that's really very unorthodox from arguably the best player in the world right now. And he is now going up against a Protoss player who, other than getting his pylon blocked at the natural, everything's fine and dandy for him. His Stargate is starting.
Yeah, he's already mining the second gas as well because he has so many probe here. And Queen is still working on a number of drones right now. He still cannot go for the lair tech. I think he can't really go for the lair. Oh, he did go for the lair tech, but this Stargate time is really fast that I do not think Queen can actually afford to build Spire because of the Zealots are already moving out. Trying to go for the backstep, but second cannon will finish on time, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, the funny part is even if he runs by, there's already a cannon in the main. So I don't know what he's intending to run by and do with those Lings. Like, he's not going to be able to kill anything. So now he's just got to shadow these Zealots. They're moving up towards the third base. 2 Lings almost already die. And this is starting to get very hectic for Queen. There's no Sim City at all. Again, we're seeing a lot of hatches come down. Spire, I think, is about to finish too. But Sarah's going to be out in just a second.
I really like how Mini prepared for this best of 7 series, and Queen is absolutely on a disadvantage side. He has made made the extra Zerglings. He has to get all those Zealots before that +1 attack finishes, and he can't let the Zealots go home. If he saves us all those Zealots going back all the way home, he will wait for the +1 attack and move out once again with the Zealot speed. So the number of Zerglings that Queen just made, he could have just made all those drones, but he's not earning anything with those Zerglings.
Yeah, and the Zerglings are way out of position at the bottom. Like, they're going to try and engage, but the top Lings have already taken a lot of damage. Sarah confirms that the Spire is not even close to being finished. It's just now about to complete. That means Scourge aren't going to be done for a while. And back in Mini's main, this is going to be the first time we see a heavy Gateway follow-up. He's already got 4, and he's scouted everything. He knows that there's no defense anywhere. And this Zealot count that's at what, like 7 right now, it's going to explode to upwards of 15 within about a minute or so.
Yeah, in order to stop that 7 Zealot, you have to multiply by 3, so that's 21. At least 21 Zerglings he really needs right now. But I think Mini is really waiting for the +1 attack before the attack, so he's not actually committing for the trade yet. He's waiting for the +1 attack probably soon.
Yeah, it should be completing momentarily, maybe like within the next 15 seconds or so. Look at how many Zealots there are, Scan. There's just so much, and again, it's just pure Ling, and there's going to be some Mutas, but with this amount of gateway production, it doesn't matter. Yeah, plus, or a speed kicks in, there's no sunken at the natural. Queen is on the brink of being eliminated from this ASL.
Oh my god, that drone drill is looking great, but the Mutalisk will come out, but I don't think Mini has much of a Corsair, but doesn't even matter. Queen doesn't, yeah, +1 up just kicked in, so he'll just ignore all those Zealot Zerglings and pretty much doing the run by attacking the natural, attacking the main base at the same time, maybe even get the Spire if he wants, but that Mutalisk is, okay, he did get about 4 to 5 Mutalisks, but the Spire will go down. Hydralisk then is not up yet. Oh my.
Goodbye Spire, and that means that Corsairs will reign supreme unless he gets another Spire up. Meanwhile, drones are dying left and right. All the drones at the natural have been sent to the third base. Hatcheries could be taken down by these Zealots. There's just 4 for now, but remember, they have +1 weapon. So if they end up trying to get an engagement versus the Lings, they're going to trade so effectively. For now, the Lings are going to save the day and at least keep this natural alive. However, Protoss, massive lead. He's got 8 gateway, double Archon as the follow-up. He's still got a couple Sairs, and as we stated, there's a Hydra Den, but I don't see, oh, it just started. We haven't seen any Hydras at all.
Yeah, only Zerglings. And Mini is just to make sure he doesn't die to mass Mira at the main base, so he was making additional 2 cannons. So there are 3 cannons at the main base. We can see there's 3 cannons. Middles won't do anything. None of the middles can do any damage at the Mini's main base. So he's immediately switching to Dragon Tech here with the Archon combo. This is a really funny combination. Normally you have Mass Zala with the Archon, but Dragon Archon, that is very interesting.
Well, there is the sweet spot at the natural. Mutas are going to get a decent amount of damage done because there's 6 of them, and that means they can one-shot all of these probes. But that means that there's not going to be any Mutas to help defend this push. And these goons, even though there's not a surprising amount of them, they might have range. And we know that the Hydras 100% don't have range, so they're going to have trouble being able to deal with these goons. Sunken is in a pretty nice position, but there's just not that much defense.
Yeah, I think the gun range is now complete. I think it just finishes. Yeah, it did finish. You can see the Dragon range is super long. The Archon is pretty much soaking up all those damage from the Zerglings, Hydralisk, and the Sunken Colony. But doesn't even matter. The Mass Zala follow-up is now coming. Mutalisk cannot fight against those Dragon and an Archon. Try to defend for Queen, but I think this is over.
Yeah, this is going to be doomsday for Queen. He has really nothing left other than these 6 Mutalisks. Hydras pop out, but oh hello, there are goons and zealots right on top of my army. You can see supplies almost 100 for Mini. Just 50 for Queen. The Mutas might be able to fend off the goons, but what stops the zealots? They're into the drone line. They're going to be in the main also. You can see a couple running in there, and there it is. There's the GG, and Mini secures our first finisher into the finals.
That is super long nail.
Oh, he has a super long nail? I didn't even notice that. Oh my god. Well, what a killer this guy is. Stone cold killer. Game 4 was absolute, well, game 3 really, the Polyoid game. That was pure perfection right there. And then realizing that, I guess just really understanding what Zero was going to go for into the Eclipse game, he just completely obliterated him with the 2-gate. But we really did like Queen's opener on Ascension. Unfortunately for him, Mini's micro was incredible, and that single sellout that popped out right when the pylon died. Oh, that was heartbreaking. Yet still, almost Queen was able to seal the victory there. But after the cannons got up, you knew that Queen was in trouble simply because his drone count was non-existent.
Yeah, normally when you're playing against 9-pool, you should be always building the forge. That's the textbook build order. But Mini actually defended with the no probe scout, defending the 9-pool speed with the Nexus follow before the forge. I'm not sure what Queen was actually doing. Queen probably thought that he won the game because of the text. that's how it's supposed to be in the textbook playstyle. But that Zergling run by, and he knew there's a Nexus already. He knew there's no forge, so he probably thought he can actually finish the game here and just constantly make the extra Zerglings. And didn't even build a third hatchery. He had that mineral fluid all the way up to 600.
I'm hoping they show this Zealot popping out right when the pylon dies, because when it popped out, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are we serious right now? How did this pop out at the perfect moment? Please click the gateway. Okay, that we see that the first Zealot dies. This second Zealot should have died, but this probe coming in, they end up getting a couple of Ling kills and damaged a couple of the other ones. Now the Lings are going to get on top of that pylon, I think, and you're going to see this Zealot just barely pop out in the nick of time. Watch this.
Yeah, I think the ASL staff was also surprised that this was almost impossible.
Look at this, look at this. It just pops out, and you're like, how? How is he so lucky to get this out?
Yeah, all those ASL staff also have really strong knowledge of the StarCraft game. They probably also thought Mini would have died to this 9-pull speed. But that, as you mentioned, that Zealot just popped out from the gateway before the pylon falls. I wonder if the game would have been a different result if he taken down the gateway, because the gateway is already on a burning.
Yeah, but look at this one Zealot survive.
Yeah.
He has 5 health. And he's just not able to bulldoze it down. If the Zealot doesn't pop at the very end, it would have been 5 probes defending like 6 Lings. And even if Mini survives, right, he's not going to get his natural up. Like, we know he's going to survive because he has a cannon in his main. But everything here at the front is going to be dead. So what a lucky timing for that Zealot to pop out. And of course, you got to give credit where credit is due. The probe control was nuts. And he's going to take the series 4-1. And thinking about those pro predictions, the only player to get the prediction right was Snow. He predicted 4-1 for Mini, and he proves that he is a threat in this tournament. He's going to be moving on into the finals, and he's looking to get his first title. Now, as I mentioned, I was watching Mini in Pro League the other day, and this guy just really, he's another level right now. He seems so confident in his play, and you can see that he is ridiculous in PvZ, and regardless of who comes out of the bottom side of the bracket, they're going to have their work cut out for him. I kind of am hoping that Larva comes out, because Larva plays a completely different style than everybody else, and maybe that's what Zerg needs to play against versus someone like Mini.
저도 7판4선을 적은 전을 이길 줄은 몰랐는데
So Mini is made it into final, and we're doing the interview of Mini. Mini said he didn't expect that he will win this best of 7 series against the Zerg, because whenever it's a long run against the Zerg, it is always going to be a tough for Protoss, and he was also shocked that he beat Green.
그런데 제가 이제 8강에서 올라갈 때부터
I don't know what the question was. We didn't get to hear because we don't have that sound from the clean feed. But we are hearing Mini.
한 번 더 쓸 수는 없고 이제 결승에서는 이제 새로운 빌드를 꺼내야 되는데.
Mini thinks he showed way too much of a
optimization
of his optimization in this round of 4 semifinal. So he thinks he really needs to bring up different strategy in the final that he's going to be facing in the Zerg. I think there's a talk about game number 5. When the Zealot died, two of his Zealot died at the natural. He dropped his mouse. He was thinking to type GG. But at the same time, he thought he can actually make some combat with the Pro Micro, so he continued that game, game number 5. And he actually defended that Zergling all in. And he's talking with the Korean commentators. It's unfortunate that we can't hear the Korean commentators.
무조건 이번에는 우승해야 된다는 생각을 가지고 있는데 좀.
So probably the commentators probably asked him about that. This is his second time making it to final after season 7.
이번 시즌도 이제
And Mini is saying that he really needs to win this final
24강 때부터
in this ASL Season
얘기했었거든요.
11
그래가지고
because he
지금
didn't make
결승까지
it.
온것
He didn't make
같은데
it through in the previous
결승이
seasons.
더 잘 준비해야 될 것 같아요.
He already had an experience in the previous tournament in Season 7, so
아 솔직히 전
he really thinks he
둘다
needs
까다로운
to
것
prepare
같아요.
more. I think the Korean caster asked him
그러니까 그
is
두
more
선수한테
difficult to
지금
face
4강에서
in the final.
만났으면 무조건 이겼다. 누구를 만나도
네.
무조건 이겼다는 생각을 가지고 있을 텐데 와 결승에서는
So he
이제
thinks it's
누구랑
gonna be
하던
tough.
이제 빡세-
Whoever
힘들
he
것 같아요.
faces, to either Hero or Larva, he's going to be having a tough time. And he thinks both of the Zerg players thinks it is going to be an easy win for them to win a
이번에
champion title.
4강에서 3저그가 되다 보니 좀
I think they're talking about the round of 4, the semifinal
네.
was
결승
3 Zerg and 1 Protoss only.
포스트적으로 이제 할 수 있어서 보답해서 좀 좋은 것 같고 이제 결승은
A
이제
lot
더
of
좋은
fans probably
모습으로
thought it is going to be
우승할 수 있는
another
모습 보여드리겠습니다.
Zerg period of time of this ASL Season 11. He
감사합니다.
thinks he performed really well in this semi-final, making it into final. So he feels satisfied with the performance in the game. What is it? Semi-final.
So we're looking at the card for Mini here. Not sure exactly what it says, but something at the bottom, Protoss versus Zerg.
Oh, this was that was 11 seasons ago. PBZ final. We didn't have any of a PBZ final for 11 seasons. The whole time was the other matchup, DBZ, ZBT. That's it. We never got to see, or maybe TBP as well, but we didn't get to see PBZ at all the whole season.
Well, so it's going to be our first PVZ in all of ASL. That's nuts. And, you know, this might be the best PVZ you could ask for because Mini, he's cutthroat. And I'm excited to see who comes out of the bottom side of the bracket. You know, I'm kind of torn here because I love Larva's defensive style. Every time I see him play, especially versus Bisu, those games are epic. Like, actually epic. But at the same time, Hero's making a run this ASL that I'm kind of hoping that he makes it through to see if, you know, all the games he's played so far are a fluke or not. Is see if he's going to have the ability to take down Mini in the finals, or if Mini is just going to run over all these Zerg players. You know, I'm trying to think, what other matchups did Mini play this season? He played versus Best, but other than that game versus Mong, hasn't he exclusively played PvZ basically? I think he's played a lot of PvZ.
I think so, yeah. But I'm also interested of seeing another ASL champion title for the third Protoss. We see that Shuttle is the first one, and the second champion was Rain, and this is Mini's third Protoss, who's going to be making it into final and try to get the ASL champion title.
Yeah, it would bring some balance into among the races. I mean, we have 11 seasons. If Protoss was to get 3 here, it would kind of even up the score among the Zergs and Terrans. Now tomorrow we're gonna have Larva versus Hero, or not tomorrow, Tuesday we're gonna have Larva versus Hero. Do you have any thoughts on that particular matchup? Do you know if either player has like special builds planned?
I don't think so. It's just all about the meta macro and the rock paper scissors build order. So it is a lot of mind game. But if I want to see Ultimate Stream ZBP because the Larva is definitely gonna choose Ultimate Stream if he gets to play against Protoss for sure. So I want to see some defensive and turtle playstyle of how Larva does against Mini. Because Queen has been showing all those aggressive style against Protoss, but Larva is completely opposite playstyle. I want to see how Larva does.
And so we do get to see the map picks tomorrow. It's going to be Hidden Track first again, then Fighting Spirit again, Then we got Ultimate Stream and Ascension, so we're going to knock out all 3 of the new ASL maps within the first 4 games. Then we're going to have the standard Polyoid and Polaris Rhapsody, and then Eclipse to round it out. So this should be very exciting, especially that we're going to see a bit of flavor on the new ASL maps in the first couple games. Remember, we saw Hero take down Effort in ZVZ. I have to remember, have we seen... I don't think we've seen Larva at all this season in ZVZ. Let me check real quick.
I think so either. But he has been playing ZVP. Snow and Bisu in round of 16. And round of 8 was Larva versus Rush. That's all he played.
Yeah, he's played a lot of Zerg versus Protoss, as you mentioned. Actually, Hero's the one that's played all the races, really. He had the group of death, the Terran group of death, taking down all of the Terran players, shockingly making it out in first place. Then crushed Snow and ZVP. And then, as I mentioned before, he took out Effort in a ZVZ. And so he's got a well-balanced arsenal, and he does have a good shot taking down Larva. Meanwhile, if Larva makes it to the finals, I think it would be the first time he's gone that far also. So he would be looking to make his first out. I'm not sure if Larva has actually ever won a prestigious tournament. I would have to go look that up right now. I know that Hero has won.
Now, Larva never made it into final so far. So if Larva actually beats Hero, then it is going to be his first time making it into final. And I want to see how Larva plays against Mini, because Mini and Hero, they were actually in the same team in the Caspa era, FTXO, so they probably know each other over there, both of their play styles. So it might not gonna be interesting, because it might be going to be played just like kind of like a lot of mind game without instead of playing all those classic build order.
Yeah, we will have to take that into consideration if that matchup ends up happening. But for now, guys, I assume that we're probably going to wrap this up pretty soon. But wow, these games today were super exciting. Even if you're not a Protoss or a Zerg fan, highly recommend these games if you are just tuning in right now, especially Game 3. That game, that's one of those games where you look at it and you're like, what do you actually do as Zerg when you're in this situation? Just absolute perfection from Mini. And I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see that on the ladder for the next couple of weeks. So you Zerg players definitely need to be careful when that Zealot pressure comes out. Don't just instantly think, oh, well, I need to build mutas, because you may be eating about 10 Corsairs a minute from there. But what were your thoughts today overall? Is Mini as good as he played today, or was today just a special day for him?
I think... Yeah. The last game pretty much triggered the forced Queen to play 9-pull speed, and judging by how Queen played with the 9-pull speed, he didn't really optimize well with the 9-pull speed into 3 hatchery. He had floating mineral all the way up to 600. So all those are optimization of how Queen wanted to do in the last game. He probably didn't even prepare for the 9-pull speed in the game number 5 on Ascension. So he just did it, but they don't really work well.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. Obviously, Mini playing extremely well, and then you could see in Game 5, Zero definitely thought he had won the game, floating that many minerals. So, and then it didn't end. So then he was kind of in a very awkward position, because now he has to transition out of it. And I think it was kind of just not Queen's day, but at the same time, as I said, perfect play on Polyoid. And then a soul read on Eclipse to go for proxy 2 gate on a 2-player map where it's often they open with pull first. That is balls of steel. So really, Mini just completely outclassing Queen today. But I know in future ASLs, Queen is definitely going to come more prepared. However, he did make the top 4, so he's directly seeded into the next season, correct? So at least he's got that going for him. But that is going to be the end of the cast today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we're going to be back on Tuesday, and it's going to be a ZVZ between Larva and Hero. And once that's over, we're going to have our final setup. So definitely tune into that. It is definitely going to be very, very exciting and action-packed.